Saved means to be rescued. To be rescued from what? From a world that says might makes right, and you're only going to be worth something if you're strong enough and if you're loud enough and if you can oppress someone else, because everyone knows there's only so much in this pie to go around, and for you to have more, you've got to take some of someone else's. That is a big lie. It's the biggest lie ever told. We are setting up a new kingdom in this world. And by being brought into that kingdom through the waters of holy baptism, where God claims us, we can't choose God. God chooses us. We are brought into a new realm of possibility where might does not make right, where weakness is the power we're looking for. Because as St. Paul says, when I am weak, then I am very strong. It turns what we've been thinking and taught upside down. We are being saved from what we have accepted as true and right and just. We are being rescued from that and being brought into a new realm of being. And it's not something we just experience when we die. It's something we witness and we get to share in this life today. This past week, many people were asking the same question that the disciples were asking in that boat in our gospel reading today. Jesus had called his disciples and said, let's go to the other side. Let's leave this place. Come with me. And they were out on the waters and a storm arose. I don't know if you've ever been in a small craft in the middle of a storm, but it is scary. I lived through Hurricane Hugo. I was not as scared as I was in my father's 16-foot ski boat, McKee craft, going from the Tougadoo River back to Charleston. Yes, that's the name of a place, Tougadoo. Back to Charleston, huddled under a hydroslide and skis as lightning popped around us, hoping that we would live. That's fear, folks. The disciples go to God, Jesus is God, and say to him, after they wake him up, don't you even care that we are perishing? God's people speak to God a question that doubtless many Christians were asking after the horrific tragedy of this past week. That we are asking the same question that those disciples were asking. Don't you even care, Lord, that we're perishing down here? And what is the response? When God stands up, when Jesus stands up amidst the crashing waves that are sinking them, he speaks and he says, peace, be still. Peace. You see, Jesus, God, is the non-anxious presence in the midst of our violent world, who doesn't need to respond with anxiety and, oh my God, this is terrible. He speaks and brings peace. Now, I want you to know, friends, this is not some theological gobbledygook. This is real. This is real. Now, I don't want to stand in front of you today and lie to you and say, what happened was okay. The fact that 9 people gathered for a Bible study and were murdered in cold blood is not okay. That is not okay. That is terrible. That is horrible. And I want you to know God does not condone that, and God will not be mocked. However, God was not silent on that day. God was with those people. God called to them into a Bible study to hear His Word and to study Him. And it wasn't just a theological concept. The blood of the martyrs is the fertilizer which grows the church. And again, that is not a theological concept. That is the truth that we are experiencing now. We hurt. It is heartbreaking when we see the evidence of our sinfulness all around us. I hurt as your pastor. Pastor Clementa Pinckney, the pastor of Emanuel AME Church, was a classmate and a friend of mine. We studied together at Lutheran Theological Southern Seminary. We took Greek together. And on many occasions, we spent our breaks, as few as they were, talking and visiting. And we were some of the Charlestonians that were there in that class, so we got to just joke around about that. We talked state politics. May we not look condescendingly at this and say, boy, ain't it a shame. I'm sorry to hear that. But may we use this opportunity to look into ourselves and into our own hearts, into our own nation, and examine ourselves. May we look into the mirror and address one of our biggest enemies, the one that we're afraid of, ourselves. And may God speak to us in the midst of that and say, peace, be still. Amen.